from Hampton, I believe it was, and was dealing with Martin Luther King. They got into nothing. The big scenes, of course, were the jumping and the shouting. And I said, this is about Martin Luther King. Where is the tragedy? He just died, and then they sang a happy song. And I said, what is this? Misusing our culture, making money off of it. And so I want to talk a little bit about today about what happened in the theater last week and what we see when we go to theater, what we should see. First, theater started in Africa. Theater started as ritual, religious ritual. And you think, when I say theater, I mean song. The songs we hear on the radio, the dances we see. All of that today has no soul at all compared to what it used to be. It started as religious ritual, serious religious ritual. Now, what I had envisioned today was not this room, and I tried to get a room downstairs, because you shouldn't be sitting at this table. We should be up moving and dancing.
I hear that.
And I might get you up in a little while, your drummers are here. Because we have gotten into another mold. We become spectators. We say, sometimes we shout, But the African way is not that, it's participatory. So we're going to get into it in a little while. Is that all right with you? When you go into theater, now this is all taken from Africa, you understand? And you sit in your seat, what happens before the show?
The house goes black.
Who said that? Right, the house goes black. They go to black. Why?
To set the stage or the atmosphere for the beginning.
What do you mean atmosphere?
It will be a birth of a sort, so fading to black would be similar to
See,
being
he's very
beginning,
advanced,
it was-
yes. Okay, go ahead.
In the beginning,
In the beginning,
yes. It was,
it was black.
Yes.
Everything was black. Okay. Before we did the presentation last week, the Nigerian gentleman came and he said, I want the stage black. Okay. Because he had, out of that blackness was supposed to come a song. Okay. Birth was happening, creation was happening in that blackness. And then afterwards, the lights would come up. When he went to do his most serious business, he went into that house, enclosed blackness, back into the room again. Okay. Now, on the stage where the performers are, I was upset back there because people were coming from the audience right up onto the stage. When you are on the stage, you set a scene, you set your place. You spiritual, you hold it, make it spiritual. Okay, you create a setting there. You bring up the energies, the powerful energies there. On the stage, you cannot break it. If somebody comes in from the audience, you don't know where their heads are. You don't know what they're thinking about. You don't know what they have on them. But on the stage, you create your setting, your spiritual setting. Okay. If somebody comes up, Europeans would say, it breaks the mystery, and it does break the mystery, but it's the spirituality that's supposed to be there. So, when performers prepare to perform, they're supposed to go into a quiet state where they contemplate what they are doing, but then they let the spiritual part come. Whereas you're putting on your makeup, you're becoming what you're going to do out there. And this does not come from Europe. I keep telling people, it comes from Africa. And if, when you're on the stage, you do not do this, your concentration is lessened. In the audience, the blackness focuses you. When you're in darkness, you go right into yourself. And you become very, very, very focused because you don't know what's going to happen here, that you're listening for sounds happening. So the only thing that's going to light up is that stage of that area. What happens in addition to the darkness, what else happens when you're sitting? If it's a musical.
well, the music starts playing.
The overture begins. They set the scene musically. They put you in a particular mood musically. So they're tuning you, they're setting you up for what is coming. This is all coming from our country. It is borrowed by the Europeans. You can go back to the mysteries and you can see how it was done. When you go into the old country, if you see the rituals at night especially, then you see the same kind of thing. What else? You hear music, you hear sounds. I just brought few things here. Let me get to these drummers because they have something to do downstairs that makes me so tired. Just listen.
No, they finished.
You finished? What happens to you? Do you feel anything?
Yes.
You become involved. Or even if there's just a little, you start looking. Where is that? Where is that coming from? What is it? What is it? Okay. These kinds of things is what Europe got from Africa. Just sound effect. A little sound like that. Sometimes when you have a drum orchestra, and I'm going to talk about the drums in just a minute, I better get into that and really talk about it. Because they're drum breaks. Drums are really playing, then suddenly, brrr, like that. And you don't know what it is, but that's the cue.
Yes.
That's the cue for them to change or to stop. What happens to your minds when you hear different sounds? Just such as this goes right to the brain. The drum sometimes goes to the lower extremities, but this bell goes right to the head. And it takes you up. It takes you almost, you can get into a possession hearing bells. It's easier that way. Let me talk to you about the drums for just a minute. We have with us 3 drums here. May I see that for just a minute? Thank you. This one. You see it, there are a lot of dance companies around America, New York City. This is called, hello sister, this is called a djembe. Djembe, you want to write that down?
Djembe.
Because we're supposed to be taking notes. D-J-E-M-B-E. Thank you. D-J-E-M-B-E. It's from Old Mali. Old Mali, which was the Senegambia area. All of that area is much larger than Mali is now. It was made from a particular kind of wood, which the people found had the right spiritual qualities, and it was called linge wood in Old Mali. The skin was antelope. They were plentiful, and it had the right kind of strength to it and spirit to it. Drums in Africa are played largely in families. Africans are family people. They have xylophones. They're played in families. They have trumpets. They're played in families. A similar thing in Haiti. When you go to Haiti, there are drums played in families. In Cuba, groups of drumming called families. Now they're calling this drum and the accompanying drums orchestra, like a djembe orchestra. Let me talk to you about the djembe orchestra. Hey, sweetheart. The djembe orchestra. It's usually made of 1 lead djembe and 2 to 3 accompaniment djembes. And they play rhythms that link in together. Along with that, there's another drum called the samba. This is the drum. Samba. S-A-N-G-B-A or B-A-R. And I'm saying I give it a variety of spellings because we're largely using European alphabet, and the Africans really did not get it together that way. This is a samba. It's a 2-headed drum. It's played with sticks. Piece of metal here. I should have a stick here, thank you. So this is an easy rhythm to play, but you have to divide yourself. This is playing one rhythm and this is playing another rhythm. And at times it's very complicated. But this is the timekeeper. So it starts here and the other drums play on top of this. What else one is it? Okay, So now you have the djembes. Let's say you have one lead djembe, which does the talking. We'll get into the talking in a minute. And you have the accompaniment djembes, which play with that. Then you have another drum that looks like this, only it doesn't have the bell. And it's called the junjun. D-J-U-N, D-J-U-N. Junjun drum. Junjun. You have one maybe a little larger than this, and then sometimes an even larger junjun drum. In the classical djembe orchestra, you also have a kora. You've seen the griots playing koras. 21-stringed instrument has a gourd cut in half. They play it with the fingers like this, holding on. Okay. That's a kora, and that's in the classical djembe orchestra when there's a griot singing. And along with that, there's the balafon. And we have some outside. There's the brother's not here today who usually plays the balafon. But it's like a marimba, a xylophone. It's the original. You understand? Europeans created not one musical instrument. They claim to have created the lyre, but I think they're liars for saying that. Because they have not. There's no proof that they created that. Now, can you understand a people who exist for 20,000 years and not create one musical instrument? Where are they from? What kind of people are they? Did not create one religion, not one serious religion. And these are the people who were set free the other day at this trial, who set their buddies free. Those are the people who, and then we say that they created theater. They brag about it, and they call it theater. And when you go, you have to dress up and carry on and sit separately from the performers. That is something which was not African, and we're going to get into that. So you have, in the djembe orchestra, you have one lead drummer, and he can change places with the other musicians, the other djembe drummers. You have one sangba drum. You have one junjun, maybe two junjun drums. You have a kora, and you have a balafon, or a ballon, they call it sometimes. Okay, now, when Africans were brought to America and they began to dance and play music and things, Europeans would say, "Where's the conductor?" Because they didn't know about drum breaks. Okay. Later on, they found out about drum breaks. But a drum break, which is played when you hear the drummers playing, then they change, or the dancers change the movement, is because the drummers have played a break. It's a brothers, come on in here. You're just standing up. I know I'm talking, huh?
Oh, I thought you meant
They're gonna help with the chairs.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, are there more drummers out there? Any more brothers out there? Okay.
Yes, the balafon
Okay. Because I want them to play something for you, so you can hear the drum break. It's a steady rhythm that's playing, and then it's, you know something, when I was growing up in the backyard, there was a empty lot, and in that lot, the National Guard or whoever it was at the time used to march, used to parade up and down with their band playing music, and I heard all of this dun 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 dun, all of this music playing in breaks. And I said, what is that? It wasn't until I began to listen to the drums that I realized that when we hear these marching bands playing, a lot of what they're playing are African drum breaks.
Right.
And when you listen, dun 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 dun, have you heard that?
Yes.
That's all African drum break.
Yes.
All of those things. Keep listening. And then as the more you listen to the drummers play, you'll realize that all of those things come from Africa. But we don't know it because it's out of our mind and it was taken from us. Would you please, brothers, play a lamba for us? Lamba is a rhythm and a dance, again, that came from Mali, but it's done in Senegal, it's done in Guinea, it's Ivory Coast, they do it all along there. And there are a variety of lamban dances and rhythms. Some are for healing. Some lamban rhythms are for healing. Some are when the women get their mouths tattooed in Senegal, when they put the blackness on the lips. It takes hours. And as they're lying back and this is being done, the whole community is around them. And the sisters are putting this on their lips and they're playing lamba. Okay. Because it's very painful. And so everybody's giving her, come on, sister, don't scream, don't get up and run away, sit there for all these hours, and the music is played. When there's a marriage, the next day, after the wedding, after the people have been together, the married couple, then they play lamban again and people dance. There's another one for healing, and you see a lot of these movements in it. Now let me see where, in Cuban places, you see people doing this?
Yes, yes.
Again, cleansing, throwing stuff. And what do? We doing all that kind of stuff. Cleansing, it all goes back to Africa, and you can see that in the dancing too. So they'll play one kind of lamba right now, play the steady rhythm, and then play a break for them. Break. When you hear the break, just put your hand up. The break tells people when to start, dancers, when to change movement, and when to stop. Got it? Okay. Please play it. Thank you very much, drummer. When about 6 of them are playing, and the dancers are they're listening, especially when you first start, you're listening for that break, oh, and if you don't hear it, you don't change at the right time. But that's one of the big things, is when you hear drums all together for the first time, it's so overpowering because of, all right, Paul, we're coming in with his drum. It's so overpowering that it takes time to be able to distinguish where the breaks come in. We have to when we see our art forms, understand what it's about. Understand that we had music which was healing music. Yeah. Where is our healing music now? Who's playing it?
They gave it away.
Europeans are not playing healing music. No, sister. No, sister. Theirs is death music. The Cubans will probably. Okay, now why would they play healing music for us? They wouldn't, would they? So who is going to create the healing music? We have to do it ourselves. Something that is happening with the music today is that it is not breathing. When Africans play music, there's always time to breathe in it. I was listening to some music the other day from the 60s, the Dells and other people like that. There was always a swing to it, always time within there where you could move and breathe naturally. But today, even with when the brothers and sisters are involved in the rap, somebody else is dictating a lot of that. A lot of it comes from computers. Do you understand what I'm saying? They will take this African rhythm and this African and this, and then they'll put it together with a computer. But it doesn't breathe.
Right.
And so we are doing music which is not healthy for us. We can't breathe as we dance it. When you dance on the up, as it's done in West Africa, you can dance for a long time without getting winded. But when you're dancing constantly on this other in-between kind of rhythm, it's not good for your nervous system at all. Here comes the brother. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Yes, you do get tired very quickly. Thank you. Come in, brother. Just demonstrate that for a minute. Have you ever heard this brother outside playing now? He's just learning. Yes, yes.
When he was learning.
He was learning. Yep. I'm just going to talk about this for a minute. Underneath, as I said, Europeans invented no musical instruments. This is the mother of the xylophone and the marimba. Underneath you see the huge gourds using natural equipment. Put holes in it. Over the little holes, and it's going to be resonators now. These are resonators of the sound. They put a spider web over the holes. If they can't do that, they will even put bird wing, a piece of bird wings over it just to resonate it. And it is tuned to their way of singing, not to what we've gotten into over here. Their scale. Brother Man, would you please? Now, I'm so pleased with this brother because these were out there for 5 years sitting out there. And nobody would deal with them. And this brother would come in and run everybody crazy every day. But he's gotten some rhythms together, and it's beautiful. And I think we ought to give him some.
Oh, yeah.
About that instrument. That instrument's been sitting there, and people have been walking, me too, walking past and everything, not saying anything. And that instrument just called him, and he came right over, and it came to him. And it is beautiful. That's what I'm really trying to get at, is that thing, that African thing is still in us. And we have to identify it and let it free. Now, when I started clapping a minute ago, very few people started clapping. We have gotten used to being spectators now. We have to stop that. We have to get out of it. African art is participatory. You know, you come and you be a part of it so that everybody is on an equal level in the community. Let us talk again about, yes, dear.
What's the name of that instrument you just played?
It's called a ballon or balafone.
Okay.
Balafone. F-O-N instead of P-H-O-N-E. B-A-L-A-F-O-N or B-A-L-A-F-O, ballon. All right, the drums. Some time ago, I was reading Jet magazine, And then there was an article by, what's that old fellow, the name's going out of my mind, he plays the piano, Father Hines, Earl Father Hines. And he said that when I was coming up, we used to try to make our music sound like the human voice, words. Then in doing research, I find that the instruments that Africans made from the very get-go were made to sound like the human voice. Why were they made to sound like the human voice? How many people in here have been inspired by what they heard somebody say? How many people have had their lives changed by what somebody said? If we had not the power of the word, where would we be? When human beings first began to speak and create words and thoughts and expressions, ways of expressing their thoughts, they thought, and it was true, that words had power. You can tell somebody, shut up.
Right.
They go, what? These words, you can tell somebody, I love you. Oh, whole new thing happens with words. And so there is a generative force in words, which Africans have believed in since we started speaking. That's why when you play music, you want to put that power in it, that power of as, or ashe, or as. Now I'm going to speak about Nigeria. I'm going to speak about a celebration called Efegelede, in which the power of the word is used in song, called as songs. It happens in the evening, the celebration comes about. It has to do with the power of women, but there's songs in there that I want to go through with you. When we speak of spirituals here, Du Bois spoke of them as being sorrow songs because they came out of slavery. But there was something else in those songs we didn't understand. Why was it that our people, after working for 18 hours in the fields, would not go to sleep at night, but would steal away into the woods where they would sing? What was it that they had to sing about? They're beaten up, they're enslaved, but they do this. Their people, the slave owners, would catch them out there, whip them, send them back to work harder. The next day, they're out there again, stealing away to sing and pray together, because they knew that using the word would help them get out of their situation. Spirituals are not just sorrow songs. They are songs of transformation. They had to transform themselves every night. In those fields when they were working, they sang for rhythm, yes, but they sang for spiritual power also.
That's the truth.
You understand? For spiritual power. So, let us look at them again. Here you have people in Nigeria singing As songs, songs which have the power of transformation. When did they sing the songs? They sang the songs to stop trouble from coming. They sang the songs to, when trouble was here, to stop it, to turn it around, to turn negative into positive. And a lot of times when they sang at night, it was they would sing until the sun came up. Have you ever seen another image like that in Orfeo Negro? Remember the little brother playing the samba up there on that hill, telling the sun to come up, son. And right after the death, right after the killing and all of that, Africans believed that they could transform with the power of the word. And frequently they would do it at night. They would sing it, and it goes back to ancient Egypt with that sun coming up, that power coming up. A new day. You go through night and you take yourself into a new day using words, a spiritual power through words. And that was in Nigeria when they had that night celebration, when they would sing in order to push away anything bad, in order to talk about those things that were bad so you can free yourself of them. And so the next morning when the sun came up, you were clean, you were free. The spirituals have to be looked at again for the power of the word. Many people at that time did not speak much. When you read a lot of narratives, not the but the stories about slavery times, people didn't. A lot of them just didn't talk at all, because when they said words, they knew that there was power in those words, and they had to use them sparingly and had to use them at the right time. And often the old slaveholder, I don't want to call him master. You understand? Africans fought against calling those people master. They were beaten because they would not call them master. It took a long time for them to call them and at times they would call them massa.
Yeah, right.
And old massa would say, "Can't you say master?" And they say massa. And they'd get beaten because the old thing knew that they didn't want to say master. And they would call him massa. They'd mess the word up on purpose. So I think when we read in the history books and we read that and we start talking about, and master did this, we have to stop that, because that's something that white folks put in those books. Black people fought against saying that. But they used their words to transform themselves. Understand that we were completely enslaved here, the majority of us. Understand that we were kept, information was kept from us. We were on plantations. Some of us were in cities. Some were on small groupings of Africans. Some of us were on large groups. But their purpose was to keep information from us. They did everything they could to keep information from us. We, of course, had grapevine. We, of course, knew how to talk and send a message across. But they wanted to keep information so that we would have no knowledge. I quote frequently on the air that quote from the delegate from the Virginia House of Delegates, who said, if I can remember it right, "We have as far as possible closed every avenue by which light may enter the African mind. If we could extinguish their capacity to see the light, our job would be completed, for then they would be as beasts in the fields." And that was the way they approached us as far as keeping information. And so we sang. We didn't talk, we sang. And if a black did wrong, if somebody in our community did something wrong, they would be put on the banjo.
Right.
On the banjo, it used to be called. Their name and everything they did, they write a song about it. Okay. And it would travel from plantation to plantation, so everybody around knew that this person was a traitor, that this person could be trusted. Who could we put on the banjo today? Y'all know anybody? Who could put on the banjo? Y'all got some names? The thing is, we're not doing it. See, that's something that we don't do anymore. If we write songs, we take the songs immediately to some white man and say, "Would you produce this for me?"
Please.
Okay. You know, and they don't want to do it. So then we try and produce it ourselves, but they don't distribute those songs. So you don't hear them. If you turn on the radio to hear them, you don't hear them. Some artists may have created marvelous songs, and it's on the record, but they won't play it on the air, so we won't hear it. We have to find an alternate way of communicating, my people. Things are going to get much worse in this country. There will probably not be a LIB or even a BAI for very long. What will we do? Think about it. We are dealing with people who plan ahead for years. Where are our future plans? Suppose there were, when LIB is not on, you turn on, it's not there. You feel kind of strange. You go through the weekend.
Friday.
What's going on? You need that because it's communication with our people. Suppose it's not there. We have to set up something which serves us over the weekend first.
Right.
Now you have WWRL is on, that program is on. But over the weekend, we need to be in contact. We need to have that ability to inspire one another. So think about that, people. Discover some way that we can communicate. That has to happen. Okay. I want to give you just one reference. There's a book here called Sinful Tunes and Spirituals. Sinful Tunes and Spirituals. Black Folk Music to the Civil War. And it's by Dina Epstein. Dina Epstein. Everybody has our culture but us. Right? We're getting it though.
That's right.
Black people are reading now like never before. Yes. And it's good, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
It is very good. Thank you. Thank you. Talking about music again. It's sinful tunes and spirituals. What? Yes, dear.
And could you also cite that reference about the blinding blacks and the light?
Carter G. Woodson has it in one of his books. Then there's another book called The Forge and the Flame. The Forge and the Flame. What's the brother's name? Brother used to be a professor at Howard University who passed some years ago. No. Just get Forge and the Flame. It's still out. And it's a book on spirituals. It's a definitive book on spirituals. You should read that. This is Sinful Tunes and Spirituals by Dina J. Epstein, Epstein. Dina J. Epstein. And what it tells you is how our music was suppressed. How we used the drums, the banjo, everything we used. Laws were passed against it. How they talked so badly about it, took it away from our people, and convinced us that we were sinful. When we became Christians, we couldn't dance anymore. We couldn't play the banjo or the guitar anymore because now we were Christians. Could you tell me what that did for the Christians? It did a lot against us. And you should read this. It's got so much, and it has marvelous references in it. You see, I got a lot of stuff in it that I'm going to use. Before we get into our ritual, I want to do two other things. One, there's a song which is an example of how music was taken, and something that I want to play for you.
Which stage is that?
The history of it.
Who's the
Hubert Laws.
Play that all the way through.
Amazing Grace.
Okay.
Now, I want to make a couple of points with this. One, a lot of people think that's a spiritual
That's right.
written in America by African Americans.
None.
I went to the encyclopedia to look up the man's name who was supposed to have written it. I was told it was John Newton. And it said in this Columbia, new edition Columbia Encyclopedia, it said born 1725, died 1807. He was an English clergyman and hymn writer. Until 1755, his life was spent chiefly at sea. Then until 1760, he was surveyor of tides at Liverpool, using his leisure time to study Greek, Hebrew, and theology. That's all it said. It said he spent until 1755, his life was spent chiefly at sea. And then it went on to talk about other things. What was he doing at sea?
He was a slave.
He was a slaver.
That's right.
A slaver.
Yes.
But the new Columbia Encyclopedia didn't, we're talking about inclusion
That's
or
right.
exclusion?
Exactly.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I checked it out.
So they're going to tell you that this man wrote this song
Yeah,
just out of no place,
that's
right?
That's good.
And they did not tell you, wouldn't tell you that he was a slaver, that he went to sea to make a fortune.
That's right.
And it was only after he made a fortune that he thought of himself as a wretch. And he put it in this book.
That's right.
So, but how did he do that? Standing, he said, on the deck of the ship.
Seeing those.
He heard the moans
Yes,
and he
he
heard the singing
Right.
coming up from the hold of that ship, coming from these African people who were
That's
suffering
right.
down there.
That's
And then he said he wrote the song.
Uh-huh.
He didn't write anything.
Not a thing.
He didn't write anything. He heard those people down there singing.
He did.
And then he said, oh, just as they always do, took that music. The other songs that he supposedly have written have nothing of that quality.
No,
He
nothing,
never got that again
never.
because he left the ship. After he'd gotten enough money, he left it and said, well, I got what I need. And then he said, spend his leisure time studying Greek and Hebrew.
And the church is in England.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Right, sister.
Critical analysis.
Okay.
All right.
That's right.
It is a marvelous song.
It is.
And when you hear it, you know it's not theirs. You know where it is.
Sister, my grandmother kept 7 people with those Westchesters from my uncles singing that song.
Singing that song, that's
I was
right.
sitting at her feet.
That's right. That's right. Amazing grace. How sweet the sound. That, what is the word? It's something, changed a wretch, saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Now you know. Now you know. We need to check out the words of the spirituals, people. We need to sing them. We need to bring them back because they are healing songs.
Yes, they are.
African people created healing songs. We're not singing them. We're not creating them anymore. Who here has ever sung a lullaby to your child? Created. 1, 2, 3. Oh, beautiful. Did you create it or did you hear it?
No, just a song passed on.
A song passed on.
Yeah,
What was
Brown
it?
Baby, remember?
Oh,
Oscar Brown Jr.
Oscar Brown Jr. Brown, now that's contemporary. That's 20, 30 years ago, 20
Yeah, my
years
son
ago.
is 27.
What song did you sing? That's right. You should. You should make them up. There were lullabies sung to babies about don't cry, telling them about, listen, that there's a mother over there who doesn't have a child. I have a child and I'm so pleased to have you. Your father is so pleased to have you. Don't cry. You should be happy. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Summertime is a lullaby. The song Summertime.
Yes, it is. It is a lullaby, but it's not a real African song. It's taken from our music, but it's done by Gershwin and stuff. But Gershwin took a lot of music from black people.
Oh, yeah.
He had musicians come to his house
Play for me.
and play for him. Sometimes they would take a spiritual and turn it around, play it backwards. You understand? Same song, and then say, I got a new song here. This is one way that lots of money was made.
I bet it's still being done
But-
just that way.
It's done in a lot of ways, yes.
Right now,
Yes, it's
today.
done. But what are we doing? Where are we creating songs? We used to do it every day, nothing. Just start singing. Now we're going to do that in a minute, so you just get ready. That's what we're doing. We're going to create some songs here today. Before I go into that, I want to deal with libation for a minute. For just a minute. I said that downstairs last week, certain things were not done. Not because you don't understand. Well, yes, you do understand. You see Dr. Jeffries shooting around here, there, there, there. All of us are doing that kind of thing. And that was put together at the last minute. There's certain things that we have learned that we must do. Okay? I had the privilege when I went into show business of working with the Catherine Dunham Dance Company.
Right.
See, so I went right into an African mold or a African Caribbean mold. And I had the privilege of seeing certain structures there and then later on doing research and finding out on my own and going places and studying and being with people. You learn a lot. And then when you do that, as what's the brother here says, the more you surround yourself with Richard King, African things, the more your mind opens up.
Right.
You understand? You begin to be able to read things differently. You didn't see them that way before, but now you see what they are. And so that has happened to me on many levels, to the degree that when I left the Dunham Company and I was doing a show called Trumpets of the Lord, which is really James Weldon Johnson's God's Trombones.
Right.
And they're spirituals, and then there's sermons. And I went to Washington with it. We were at the Ford's Theater, which is where you know who was killed. Right. Yeah, he got it right after he signed after the Civil War, whatever. And we had our first rehearsal on that stage, And I'm sitting there, and they began to sing spirituals. And suddenly, see, I was culturally deprived when I was a child. I was not raised in the black church. You understand? And there's so much you get from the black church. I was raised a Catholic. And they told us, don't you go in that church. You see, when I was walking down the street on my way to the Catholic school and the Catholic churches, I had to pass 2 or 3 sanctified holiness churches. You see, and in the backyard, they had a revival every summer. But we kids were told, don't you go in those churches. As I've said before, later on I learned that I was in those churches. Africa was in those churches, and that's why they were telling us don't go in those churches. But as I sat there on the stage for the first time in my life singing spirituals, something began to happen to me. And as you know, if you've been there, first the tears come and the rocking comes. And not having been there before, I didn't know what was going on. I was just crying up there and said, what is happening? And the people, Teresa Merritt was on this side, and Lex Munson was on that side, and some other people were up there, and they're looking at me, but there are all kinds of things going on. And they wouldn't tell me. They wouldn't say, sister, such and such, you getting happy? Or something. And I'm just going and crying. And then I'm leaning over. Leaning over. And I'm in a minute, and the director's looking at me and said, what is going on? Well, afterwards, still I couldn't find, nobody was saying anything. And there was such tension in the group that people were not talking, unfortunately. So it continued. When we started the show was maybe 20% black and the rest was white. Very quickly, the proportion changed so that you looked out there and you saw all these black faces out there. And the more it changed, the more I became involved. And it got so that at the end of the show, we'd stand on the apron, we would sing, so glad I'm here, so glad I'm here, so glad I'm here in Jesus' name. And everybody singing, so glad I'm here. And I'd stand up there, and the tears would come. And I couldn't, I'm looking at these black people, and I'm saying, I didn't know what was happening. But something from a long time ago came up there and put his hand on me on that stage. And that is when the life changed for this little Catholic child who had never had that experience before. So we all go through rituals and we all learn. Since that time, I probably, like you, have been through many experiences going through. But ritual, you must learn that you must cleanse yourself. You can do it. We can all do it. It's just about using those magic words that we have. And now this, people say, well, this is not politics. This is not going to change the world. It's not going to get white people. Yes, it will.
Right?
Yes, it will. There's nothing more powerful than culture. Culture is your spirit speaking.
Right.
When you create something and you create it in a certain style, that's your culture talking. Why is it that Africans did have, somebody the other day said that we did not have gunpowder. We didn't have it in the proportion that other people had, but we had it. But we didn't use it the way the Europeans use it. Okay? You said we didn't have it? We do have it. You did. In Ghana and Nigeria, they had forms of gunpowder. It comes from trees. They had it. So it wasn't the huge amounts that they had in other places.
It wasn't being used destructively.
They did not use it destructively. But that's a spiritual thing. So you say your words. You say your words of creativity, of love, of unity, and then you cleanse yourself as you're doing it. If you go to different countries, they'll have different ways of doing it. You go to South America or here, they'll have different ways of doing it. So I think each of us, because we don't know specifically where we come from, unless we belong to a particular group, then should create our own ways of cleansing. Just go through steps. The first step, as it was told to me, when you're pouring libation. Now, some people in the old, just as in theater, when I'm in theater and I set up my dressing room, it's religious, you set your place up completely. It has to be a place of spirituality. And in each of our homes, we should have such a place.
Right.
Some people call it a shrine or altar or whatever. But your whole house should be that way, really, if we're really in tune. Now, I'm not. My house is not that way. I need an apartment. I've been telling people about an apartment, and nobody been giving me an apartment. Excuse me. But anyhow, you get your place cleansed. And then in that state of mind, you do your creating. The first thing you do is you ask for blessing. Blessing from those who have gone before. Now, this is not calling up dead, but when you bring them to mind and you think of their strengths and you think of their tenacity, this is what you call to yourself. They're not going to come back. Okay? But you can call on the wisdom of, the strength of a Malcolm, or you can go back the wisdom of Honorable Elijah. You go way back and you go way back and you bring up those things because they're in you. We came from those people.
Right.
See, when they brought us here, who did they bring? Those who survived. The strong ones came over here. Herskovitz, the anthropologist, says that he spoke with some old Nigerians who had been part of the slave trade. They told him that one particular group of people who worshiped the river, he said, we got rid of them all because they had too much power. They had too much magic. And then they said, those Nigerians said, their big people are in your country now. Okay. And that's not just that group. When the slavers came in, sometimes they, what do you call it in the army? They reconnoitered, they check out a place. Reconnaissance. Whatever. Then they find out, who is who. They go to the spiritual people first. Why did they take the spiritual people out first?
That's where the power is.
That's where the power is. That's where the leadership is. They took them out first. If they were going to corrupt the king, they would bring in whiskey frequently.
Right.
Because many of the kings died of alcoholism. They were not used to hard liquor. They had palm wine, which you can get drunk on. They didn't have that rot gut liquor. And so they brought it in, and many of the kings died of that kind of thing. But they brought the strong ones over here. The strong ones. As that man said, our big people are in your country now. And when we think of all the fighting we have done here, we can understand that. Because we have not, when I did Gary's show one time, Tatum came on and said, our people are docile. And I said, docile? Docile, please. Right now, we must understand what's been happening to us right now. But over the years, we have fought forever.
That's right.
Before they took us off the continent, we were fighting. Even though some of those people who were selling us were our own folks. That's what broke our hearts.
That's right.
Okay. But we fought then. There are stories of people, it's so hard to get them away from Africa, they were pulling in the sand, putting it in their mouths. You understand? They didn't want to leave Mama Africa. And they would do it at night sometimes. They would load on at night, and they would load the women first. Because then they said, you're slave, the men will follow. All kinds of tricks to get us out of there. But on board the ships, they burned down plenty ships, trying to get back home. Lloyd's of London, the insurance company, started because Africans burned down so many ships, and they lost their cargo, they lost their merchandise, and so they had to get insurance to guard against losing the money. These are businessmen. They didn't care if they lost so many slaves, they could lose those, but they didn't want to lose their merchandise, other merchandise too. And so they fought all the way, and all the time here we have been fighting. So we are the descendants of those people who survived. Some of them have to time a little bit, but they survived. And they survived, and they sent their kids to school, and they worked, they got them out of slavery. We did all kinds of things because we are strong. Okay, so we can call on the strength of those people. The second point in libation is to tell what the problem is, to say it, verbalize it. What does that do when you verbalize the problem now?
Release yourself from it.
There you go. And you clarify. You clarify. And when you do it in the group, people, there's a consensus. This is our problem. So number 2 is you tell what the problem is. And you explain it. Not so much to those powers that are gone, but to those who are around you. Number 3, there is a curse. And we have gotten away from curse. We got to get back to cursing, folks.
Really?
Yes. Well, some of us, I know. Okay. But the curse is those people who have bad intentions for us, who would do evil to us, let that turn around. Let it go back to them. Let it go right back to them. Let it go back. Let it not come to us, because what we are doing is good. And number 4, you restate your request. Restate your request. Restate your problem again. Clarify it again. And get consensus again. And then after that libation, what you go into is a ritual or some kind of meeting which then deals with the problem. It's not just you do this, because this opens the proceedings, then we go on to something else. No, you have to deal with what you talked about. You brought it up. You put it in the air. Now deal with it. Using the power of your words. Using. Now, I would like to ask everybody here to write down on a piece of paper, what do you think is the most pressing problem we have? What in your mind, maybe I should make it personal, what is in your mind is the most, what do you want to do to help our situation? And what is stopping you from helping our situation? What do you want to do? And what is stopping you from helping our situation as a people? Sister?
Me?
You? No, write it down.
I don't have a pen.
You never.
Hey, I got paper. You got paper? I got a pen. Right.
You have it? The second thing, please write down. Now, I have to say this, is that since we've become westernized to the degree that, more or less that each of us has, we have become very individualistic. And the societies that we used to be in, they shared a lot. Very personal things. They were very close in so many ways. And so when a person had a personal problem, everybody knew it. I am not asking you to tell anything that you don't want to tell, but I'm saying, is there something that is bothering you personally, that you're trying to deal with? Do you understand Africa had healing music, and it was used to help people get over personal problems too? Something personal. There is a ritual in Nigeria, and we get everything from our ways, our backup singers, everything, in which there is a person called an Oro Efe, the word of power, the person who speaks the word of power.
Say it again.
The Oro Efe, Oroefe, the word of power. And when the community is together like you, but not at a table, the drummers are at that end. The Oro Efe comes out this side. And there are the palm fronds. And sometimes they're used to cleanse. You see people sweeping with these big leaves, sweeping the air. And sometimes they have a cloth, sweeping the air, cleaning it. Okay. The singers come out before the oral effie, and they get the people involved in what the subject is going to be that evening. And so I want to share with you just a little simple song, but you have to answer. Just say, I agree, if you will. I'm going to say, with children, children, children of Africa, I agree. With children, children, children of Africa, I agree. Oh, Africa, I agree. Our motherland, I agree. Sweet, sweet Africa, I agree. Our motherland, I agree. Oh, with children, children, children of Africa, I agree. With children, children, children of Africa, I agree. Oh, Africa, I agree. Sweet, sweet Africa, I agree. The motherland, where humanity first came to be, mother of humanity. Oh, with children, children, children of Africa, Africa, oh, Africa, oh, Africa, yeah, Africa, ah, sweet Africa, oh, Africa, ah, Africa, Africa, sit up, sister, stand up, sister. Oh, Africa, Africa, each of you, say, stand and say something about Africa, about your love for Africa. I agree, hey, I agree, I agree, I agree. Say it loudly, speak. I love the tropical climate of Africa. I agree. I agree. Okay. Sister. I agree. the father, to see the mother, to see the sister, to see the brothers. Oh, we come together to see each other. We come together to hear each other, to hear the father, to hear the mother, to hear our sister, to hear our brothers. Oh, we come together to hear each other. We come together to heal each other, to heal the father, to heal the mother, to heal the sister, to heal the brother. We come together to heal each other. Children, children, children of Africa, we're children. Sister, what is bothering you?
I would like to have a better rapport with my family. That's something that has been going through.
Shall be done.
Why do you think there's no rapport? What is wrong?
Well, we're not all in one accord. We're not all going in separate directions.
You are a poet, sister. You are a spiritual sister. You're a good sister. I've never seen you in a negative mood or saying things. I've always heard you uplift people. You're a good sister. You're a good sister. Sister, tell her about herself. Is there something, what do you think the problem is? Sister, on the side, discuss, ask her what about the problem. Take her hand, please. Yeah.
As I said before, we're all going in different directions. There's a lot of pain. Like, I have a lot of pain, especially with my father being that I'm reaching out from African culture. He's from Africa. And it's like there, and he won't share it. You know, he's frustrated.
Have you discussed it with him?
Yes.
You've asked him to share it?
Yes, I have.
Did he say why he didn't share it?
He makes excuses. They're just victims of oppression, and they don't see what's going on around us, and they don't feel that it's that important to understand that we can be together.
Well, they're just regular people.
Pretty much they're just living each day as it comes, and they're not concerned with the crisis that we're facing as a people, and they understand the importance of the family as a unit.
BrotherRonn, did you hear what she said? Did you hear what she said?
Yes.
Tell her what, baby, give her some suggestion. Please come up and take her hand. Oh, that's a good sister. Give her a hug,
I don't usually give advice. I don't usually think of myself as a big authority to give advice.
Now tell her that.
Okay. I don't usually give advice. I don't usually think I have that kind of wisdom. I have had problems relating with my family in the same context. And the irony about sitting together here is that I just sent my family back south. Family that for 25 years I had all related to because of my being in a place that they couldn't be at or I didn't want to be at. And they came up for like 4 days. And out of the blue, after they had left, my mother told me that they were asking, they were discussing the possibility of having put me on tape, their camera. And I was saying, put me on tape, and they were saying, yes, they had had never heard anybody speak the way I spoke about black people. And they wanted that on tape. And she asked me if I would send them some tapes. And here are people who, for 25 years, couldn't deal with my whole life in that context. Well, now, out of the blue, just out of 4 days, like eating and talking, they now want to change, or they want to know about that change.
How did she learn by the story you just told?
I wouldn't say I patience her because the breach was like for so long.
Yes.
It had to be the spirits because I didn't force it.
Related to
I'm sorry. It had to be the spirits. The spirits had to have come in and reached out because I think they knew that I'm trying so hard now to be someplace that I need my family to be there with me, and I think the spirits gave me that just to help me make another step in that direction.
That's right.
How does it relate to her?
I think that perhaps as the libations that were just mentioned, one has to reach back and ask the ancestors and believe the ancestors will create that for you. I didn't quite believe, I hoped. I don't know the difference between hope and belief, but I always hoped that would happen. And then there it was, I mean, almost by accident. But it wasn't by accident, it was there, it happened. And,
Yes.
it changed them. In fact, their changed me in a big way that I don't any longer have to feel that I haven't got them there anymore. Because their being there, or just the desire to be there, means I have people I can call on now.
Thank you.
Not that I don't have friends, but calling on family is like different. You know what I'm saying?
What you mean?
Okay,
Thank you. No?
everybody.
And we
In the spirit of our ancestors, there is a strength that we must draw upon. In acknowledging that, we can run a videotape in our minds and see ourselves as small molecules that traveled in the bodies and the spirits of those who came before us. As they went on and grew in life, we grew until the components that made us came together through our mothers and fathers.
Lord.
When you draw on that strength, all of us, in our smallest to largest forms, are family. And those who are biologically connected sometimes are not mentally and spiritually connected. But we will find a way to reconnect them as we continue to grow.
Yes.
Ashe.
Yes. Thank you.
Sister? What do you think you're going to say when you're talking about?
I don't know. I really don't know. I've been trying.
When you come here?
I've tried to get him to come up. In fact, I tried to get him to come up today and see Sheikh and son. Because he is from Senegal. And I thought this would be like
What do you think is turning him away?
he's become Europeanized. He doesn't want to know anything about it, discuss it.
You speak Photo?
It's different.
Do you
yes.
speak Photo?
Few words that I picked up from people other than my father.
Who else would like to speak?
What?
Now, it is, let me say, it is our responsibility as a community, all to have input into something which is here. If somebody's needs an answer. Each of us, even if we're not might be the greatest thinkers in the world, but there's something that we can do. So each of us would go to them, take a hand, or in Africa just hold or sit there. Sometimes they would just play a little tune. while, she would be a part of that too. They might repeat one word over and over again. That word is here. So each of us here, we won't be able to do it tonight, but we need to do it. But at home, they don't deal with time the way we do here. So they would take that time to talk to me, sister. Brother Ralph.
I think
Brother
that
Ralph, go over to this.
for what you're trying to do, you're on the right track.
Right.
I think what you must continue to do is be committed in what you're doing. Sometimes you can't worry about what other people are thinking.
Right.
What you have to worry about is your own growth, what's going to work for you. And your father's very clear that he's an African. In spite of the fact that you're saying that he's Europeanized, he's running away because maybe what is involved in being African is so powerful for him that he cannot deal with it. The fact that you're dealing with it is an example that maybe he will see you. You're his child, so therefore maybe in the parable, a little child shall lead him.
Right.
You may lead him very much back to himself. He must go through this transition right now, okay? So I don't think you should waste too much time in being distressed over the fact that they're not all pulling together. Worry about the fact that you're pulling together, and that you're growing, and that there are many who are like you. So you find company and comfort with us. Therefore, ultimately your family may follow. And if they do not in this lifetime, keep going and do what you have to do. Okay? Because that could become a very heavy luggage and you might be missing your own blessing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay? I'm through that.
The father has a problem, but the daughter will find her way. The father has a problem, but the daughter will find her way. Oh, the father has a problem, but the daughter will find her way. Oh, the father has a problem, but the daughter will find her way.
Now, if you're going to do this as the people did in the fields, one might have started that way. They might have started with and then somebody heard and said, oh, the father got a problem. Somebody on the other side says, but the child will find her way. Then, oh, but the father's got a problem, yes, Lord, but the daughter will find her way. Then somebody else says something on that first line. The father what?
Father wants to be your parents.
Father wants to be European, but the daughter will find her way. Oh, the father wants to be European, but the daughter will find her way. Somebody else. First line. The father needs a healing, but the daughter will find her way. The father needs a healing, but the daughter will find her way. Now you see, it's very simple how we made songs. We were dealing with the issues. Now let's take one of the issues that we face today. You wrote down on the paper, each of you, an issue that you think is most important. It's uppermost in your mind concerning our people. One somebody stand up and say what yours is, and make it as concise as possible if you can. But if that's, yes, dear.
I'd like to share with the group to rid ourselves of materialistic desires that are no longer elevating our consciousness.
Okay. All right. Now, how would you put that into some short words, short little lines?
Can I continue?
Yeah.
Okay. I owe no one. All investments are free and clear.
Uh-oh. Connect that to that first part you read there. What is it? Say it again. Say the whole thing, what you said at the beginning.
Rid ourselves of materialistic desires that are no longer elevating our consciousness.
Okay. Make that into a song. Just that first line. Rid ourselves of
Materialistic desires.
Right. And what else?
That are no longer elevating our consciousness.
Okay. How are you going to make that into a song? First line. Break it up. You know, there were European hymns that we were taught, and they were long, long sentences and everything. And we cut it up and put it into 4 words. 6 words.
We don't need no money.
Say the line again. Say the line again.
We have all that we need right here.
No, say that line again the way you wrote it.
Rid ourselves of materialistic desires that are no longer elevating our consciousness.
Material things don't lift me. Okay.
Okay.
Does that say something of
Yes,
that, right?
yes.
Material things don't lift me. Let me push them away or something. Just short.
Yes,
Things
yes.
don't lift me, Lord. Let me push them away. Oh, material things don't lift me, Lord. Let me push them away. Material things don't lift me, Lord. Let me push them away. Material things don't push me, Lord. Then you got your dance, right? Material things don't lift me, Lord. Let me push them away. Okay. All right. It is easy to do it, people. And we must do it. You understand? We are letting other people program our minds with their songs. And do those songs deal with our problems?
No.
They do not.
Make them work.
Blues used to tell the news. Blues used to be talking blues. When they were recorded, then they cut them down so that they could fit on a record. But blues used to go on for a long time because they were just talking. And sometimes they didn't even have a guitar. They just had that foot. What they call it, juba, rocking juba. That heel toe. Sometimes it was slow. And also, if you go down to South Carolina, what you see? See that brother with that stick? Down, 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 down. And then they start talking. We did not have to. Anyway, these, when you go on the stage now, you see over here, and that poor brother got paralyzed by one of those big speakers fell on him. You know what I'm talking about? You see huge banks of speakers over here, huge banks of speakers over there, and the entertainers come out and you see smoke and the lights going.
Yes.
That's white.
Yes.
Do you understand? That is not us. We don't need that. We fell into that, but Europeans started that crap. Black people come out on the stage and say one note and tear it up. That's right. We have lost that quality. Because when was it yes, brother?
Sorry. What term did you give what Denzel Washington and the soldiers were doing that was so moving in that film called
Glory.
Oh, glory.
I mean, that was a very powerful scene.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about, the true background, it was just men talking
Yes.
about. It was a very powerful scene.
It was one of the most beautiful scenes in the film.
How?
I was crying in the movie, it was like,
Yeah,
wow. It was like,
yeah. I have problems with the complete film.
Oh, yeah. So do I.
Right. But how many times have you had sessions like that with men? How many times?
We do it often.
You do it often.
Yeah.
But most of our people, women and men, do not have scenes where times when they just sit down and talk real. And talk about things that they don't usually tell people about. And here are men under pressure. Men who've been whipped and beaten down all of their lives. And now they've been told to get up and say what they feel. They're not used to doing it. So it was an extra kind of a strange thing to get up there and say your dreams, your desires, or something that you feel. We don't do it. We used to do it in the evenings. At meetings like this, people would get up and talk about intimate stuff.
Testify.
You understand?
Right.
Yes, that's where testifying came from. And we don't do that anymore. So we don't have that release. You have to start doing it. The brother is all right. You can talk to him. A lot of us have all kinds of hang-ups in this country. We have to cleanse ourselves. We have to come together and be free enough. So what if I have a problem, you got a problem, everybody in here got some kind of problem. You understand? And so we talked to one another.
But like this is an unusual situation.
Yeah.
Just like in your own, household.
Yes.
Your own.
You have to create the situations like this, in which you speak very frankly, very frankly.
They were using, not the humming itself was seemingly conducive to speaking.
Yes.
Like they were doing,
Okay.
it's like
Listen.
just so
Listen. humming
Yeah, but humming and
in
that's-
African use is a healing process. It's like what people call a mantra. You understand?
Yes.
You just sit. Now, there are all kinds of accounts. During the time of slavery, of white folk coming into their kitchen, thank you, and finding the woman who's cooking or doing the floor, humming, just humming. It's an art form. We don't even hear it anymore. A lot of singers used to do that. They just hum. I went to Brooklyn some years ago, and there was a church out there, big church, and there was the minister's wife was giving the altar call. I'm standing outside, and I heard this woman just moaning and humming. I said, ooh, let me go. Went in there, sat down. The woman just went through this marvelous, was nobody in there. But she was doing this call, just moaning and singing. I haven't heard that since I was a little girl. But that puts you, it begins a healing process. And out of the moan comes the word.
Yes.
Right. Because it frees it.
Right.
It just frees it. We don't moan. We start moaning, people think you're sad. Why are you so sad? Yes, brother man.
We have become so sophisticated that we won't talk to one another. I don't. One of the things that bothers me is a lack of an inability or reluctance to share our problems and pain with one another. That's the general family. It doesn't have to be your immediate family. I think men have more of a problem doing with women. Women seem to be a little more outgoing. But we cute now, we're sophisticated. Or we give it another name, we'll call it group therapy.
But that's Africa. It goes back to the old African tradition.
You know what we call it group therapy
Yes.
then, until our Caucasian brothers gave it a name.
That's right. That's right. But yes, we are afraid of each other. You realize that? We have gotten to be so individualistic that we can't share anything. And you gonna smile? That's right. What is that? Somebody as a saying now on a T-shirt. Don't tell me what to do with my day.
That's why.
You know that? Because people start saying, have a good day. It's a good wish. Don't tell me what to do with my day. It's like saying good morning to somebody. Don't tell me good morning. You know? Please, we have to get past that. And when we do this, when we start the hum, really, it does relax you. It does open you up. Another thing we have to do is stop thinking negatively about what people say and what you can look at somebody. I bet she's thinking about this. I bet I know she's gonna say something about me. Brothers do it too now. So it's not just the sisters. And we have to, as it says in the Hosea, in all of our holy books, you have to think high.
That's right.
You have to think in ma'at. What is ma'at? Truth, justice, righteousness. If you have that on your mind most of the day, you won't think these little thoughts.
Don't worry about it.
You won't. It will uplift your thoughts. Brother man, you had your hand up. Yes, sweetheart. Yes.
No, I was going to say that I think that the word trust is really important.
Yes.
Because basically we don't really trust each other. And that manifests itself across the board when we talk about politics.
Yes.
Everything. I mean, it's interesting because the last couple of days I've been listening to the radio a lot about the response to the St. John situation.
The race.
And a lot of, I hear a lot of people getting on the air talking about, they're venting their frustration about and how they want to, just like Bob Law said, well, how do we respond to this?
Yes.
And then Al Sharpton was on today, and he was saying how people listened to him during the Wallace Ronnie situation. This is kind of like the payback for it here.
Right.
I think, with the young lady here and everything that happened, the word trust is really the bottom line, because if you start to trust in, things that are spiritual,
yes,
and trust in things that your parents might tell you, or start to believe in something, then you can move on. I mean, talk about Denzel Washington, talk about everything. I mean, just like in Jungle Fever, and it's all out there. Black people just have invested too much emotion in the wrong situation, which is the American way of doing it. But you got to start trusting and believing that there is an alternative. There has to be an alternative. But we don't talk to each other.
Yes.
you know, listen to each other. You know, men and women have all kinds of, I mean, you know, the problems
Yes.
that men and women have
Yes.
now just talking to each other. It's all based upon these walls that
Yes.
we're allowed to set up between each other, and no one really trusts each other with each other's feelings.
Okay.
And we really
All right. You're right. Absolutely right. We're going to deal with that too. Yes, brother.
And I feel that in order to reach that level of trust, we need to overcome the fears that we have among each other.
See, that's all part of it.
You know,
What
you know,
is one
part of
fear
it.
that you have?
Well, the fear of if I say something to another individual that I don't know, that they might not use this against me. You see, that's how this society has created, that you have to have a contract, you have to sign a contract. It's not this trust of word that you have to be suspicious about the other person, that they might just take what you have or take what you say and use it against you, or spread it all over the place and ridicule you. So it's basically that fear that we have, you know, that we've been conditioned to. You see, like for example, when I walk down the street, the greatest thing that hurts me when I walk down the street is seeing a black woman look at me as though I'm going to mug her, or I'm going to do something to her, you know. And I said, my God, have we reached to this point? Have this conditioning process reached to this point? Or when I walk down the street and I see another brother and he looks at me, and I say, wow, I mean, if I just look again at him, I'll probably get into a fight. So, you know, it's that fear and that, you know, that we need to overcome before we reach that trust, you know.
Okay, but I think that, see, trust manifests itself in many different ways. So, see, if you become afraid of something, then oftentimes you don't trust your reaction to what it is you're afraid of. Well, you can be afraid of, just like this young lady has a problem with, her father has a problem with who he might be based upon where he is. But think about the reasons why he's afraid. There's something about him, because I went through something with my dad, there's something about him that he ultimately, bottom line, doesn't trust. He may not trust the African, he may not really think he can trust the African way of life in this country. And once he starts feeling that way, then it manifests itself in another way, which is he's not talking to her.
And then most of us, yes, let me give over your go down there. But I just wanted to say, fear is caused by insecurity. Or insecurity causes fear. They go together. But when you are unsure of something, or if you have, this is why I'm saying, when the brothers got up and
they talked about what they were afraid of, and they didn't know if they're going to die or live. And under those circumstances, you feel free to just say it, no matter, because you don't know, who's going to do what with you. You might be dead. So I'm saying that we should adopt a feeling as if we're not going to be here tomorrow, because we don't know if we're going to be. And we should love and talk to each other today. Okay, hold on just. With that in mind, these people, we might never see each other again. And at the end of the meeting, during the time of slavery, when our people left, that's what they said to one another. They took hands and said, I might never see you again. Until the next time, be with God, be strong. I might never see you again. Do you understand? And the way things are in this country now, we might never see each other again. We might go out there. So all that other crap is not important. What somebody thinks of your clothes, that's not important at all. Your spiritual self is important. And this is what we must work to get to. This is why certain readings help us clarify. Being with black people here, touching black people, and we're afraid of each other even in this room. Certainly, we're not going to go too far. It's going to take us a little time. Because this was put into us, my dear. They beat it into us. They scared it into us. They threatened it into us so that they did it in a very conscious way, turned us once against the other. And then we've lived with it all these years so that we get close to one another and we bump, you know, all that stuff. But we have to, brother. We have to study certain teachings because it helps us to have a ladder. Every day we go up one rung on that ladder. And it has to do with those principles, clear thinking. What does that mean? It means don't just respond to everything. Don't let people just turn you on like that. Hold yourself, think. Discipline. In theater, let's get back to theater for a minute. In theater, you have to be as disciplined as a general. You see people up on that stage, but everything has a cue. Everything works in time. You work together. This is what we must do again. We used to do it. We used to do things together. And the more we do them together, the more we'll lose a lot of this fear. It was good that you've been coming here every day. Because you see each other, and you get to know something about one another, and maybe you get a friend or something. But you're beginning to lose that, and you're getting the habit of coming out and being together. We should be in the room where we have a serious ceremony, you understand? A serious, with rhythm, where we go out. All of that is what we need to do. That helps to cleanse everything. Because when you are possessed and you're coming through, and people are helping you come through, you are helpless in certain ways. They are helping you, and the Spirit has you, and it's taken you. So you have to give yourself over. You have to trust. And when you go through certain rituals, you have to trust that sister. You have to trust that brother. Unless you go through those rituals, you don't know that experience, and you don't have that relationship. So we have to, again, go back and bring those rituals back so we can go through them up here. Hold on just a minute, brother. It's the sister here. Yes.
It's getting to know yourself first. Once you can realize who you are, then you won't have those fears that you are picking up, you're saying, from other people. And it's back to the theater drama. It's in a theater drama, what we do is learn our part and we learn everybody else's part. And by that connection of learning everybody else's part, the cues are just like, I mean, it's, you know, and if somebody make a slight slip, I'll know it. The audience might not know it, but we'll know it, and we'll come back on each other when we get backstage to discuss this thing. We're gonna say, hey brother, or hey sister, you were off. So that's the connection that we're talking about getting here then.
Let us go to what happens to you. Now, people here, you're not in theater. So it's something that's...
It's the analogy. It's the analogy.
Yeah, right. I'm using it too. It's a technique. But it's a little... Something else happens, which we did at the beginning, which I talked about. When you go through telling a story, when you go through a script, you begin to see it on many levels. First you see it, it's written there, these words written there. And when you begin to internalize it, as you did the songs, you understand? The song, then it becomes part of you. And you begin to discover things about yourself that you didn't know, that you had not put out, that they were there. But when you create those songs and this one begins to comment on this sister, and this one begins to comment on that, you begin to learn about yourself. That's the African way. No, it happens in theater when you go through a script, and it happens in African ritual ceremonies. You begin to exchange with one another. They say, oh, wow, I didn't know that. And sometimes you see a person, you have all kinds of thoughts about that person. And it takes you a long time. You say, this is completely different from what I thought. Because you've exchanged things. We must get back to ritual. That's power. When you are together, focused, what did I say at the beginning of theater? When the lights go out, you begin to focus. You come inside and you focus. What happens on the stage, the people create in their own spirituality. When the curtain opens, their spirit is strong right there on the stage. Your spirit out there is not as strong. You're focused now, but you're not as strong as what happens on the stage. So, this is the same thing that happens in the community when the oral effet comes out. I told you before, the word of power. The people, the singers have come out and started the song, so the people are singing in this song. Then when the oral effet comes out, there's a bell or a piercing flute, and it stops. And that person sings over. And what do? They come out and they talk about your business. They talk about what's happening in the community. And you say, right, yes. And then they begin, as they talk, you begin to understand your problems more. They talk about everything that's happening, politics. They talk about if there's war going on. They talk about sex. They talk about parents, elders, everything. They talk about right there. So it's not like today, and we go to our preachers frequently. They give they give a sermon, then they take up the collection. You understand? But they don't get really into those people. And a lot of times people get to shouting, but what are they shouting for? Okay, we have lost a lot of that. When we go into church, the choirs now have become a show. And what is it showing? That's all it's about. It's not about that. It is not about it. And they have changed the power of the choirs. Is now a lot of shouting about nothing. They just sing and scream. I went down, I saw some spirituals at Carnegie Hall, and they show coming out. I said, oh, this is going to be great. But when they did the solos, the woman had a beautiful voice, and she was way up. And the spirit, I said, what happened to the song? She was showing her voice on people. Did you leave?
Yeah, I sure did.
I didn't know you were there. But you see, we lost, you lose the point of what you're supposed to be doing. We have to have other times like this, but at times when this is not here, and when we have the drums playing, and when we come and we begin really to work on creating songs. Because then we'll begin to heal one another. Then we will not be afraid of one another anymore. Excuse me. And when we go out from here, we will bring this out and have it to grow. This has to happen. Beautiful thing happened the other day. I was walking down the street and a brother came and said, Sister Yarbrough. I said, what? He said, you're talking about study groups. I said, yes. He said, we started one in the beauty parlor over there. I said, hey, in the beauty parlor. That's great. You know, it should. It needs to happen all over like that. And then to get back to this. Europeans, as I said, they have their Orisha houses downtown. They do not let us in it. They have the shrines, they have the songs, they have the dances, they even play the drums. You understand? They're getting it all, and a lot of the power that we see them having is our power, only we don't know how they got it. Now, yes.
I like that point you make about them sharing in the beauty parlor, because I'm seeing that happen more and more than in church. And I think it has a lot to do with once a woman or a man goes to a beauty parlor, they strip themselves of all that exterior stuff, materialistic, and they let it all come out, and they also speak freely. We've had some serious rap sessions. Some friends of mine now, we just go and meet in the beauty parlor and just let it all hang out, and then go on back and do what we used to do.
Good.
That's the stuff you could do at the houses.
You can do that.
Anymore.
And bring a book next time. Start discussing this book.
That's right.
And then it will grow. Yes, Brother Major. What is that?
One minute a
I
day
did.
of
You
meditation.
did. Yes. Yeah. That's that time. It's best early in the morning, but that requires that you have a good diet, so that you can wake up early. And yes, and you notice that those other people who are so involved in everything pray 5-6 times a day. I'm not talking about the Muslims either. They pray, but I'm talking about I've been in places where turn around and this brother with the hat with the. What do they call it? Yarmouth over in the corner. That's right.
That's right.
Praying, child, forever. Stopped everything else and go pray.
That's right.
We need to pray.
Absolutely.
We don't have to do it that way, but we can do it in many other ways.
express.
But what does it do to you?
It uplifts you.
It erases all that other stuff and it focuses.
Coming soon.
We need focus, people. Go back now. I don't have all of the various things that happen. But when Tawana Brawley was brought back, that thing that happened to her, and it was in the news, You heard first that the mother said the NACP, they had given it to them, but they didn't do anything with it, and so finally, she went to Sharpton and Maddox Mason. Then you heard other stories. And every week there was a different story that came. What we did is that we went with this story, then this one, and we went over with that story, then another, and we went to that story, and another one. We do not keep our eye on the ball. We do not keep focus. And this is something we have to work to do. If you love your people, nothing can knock you off from focus.
Nothing.
So yes, brother, but first you have to learn to love one another. Let nothing come in
Start
between.
with yourself.
Let nothing come in between. Let I was over at the mart, and this brother comes in and said they wanted me to go out to this trial and support this black woman, not Jamaican, who was with those white men. I'm not going to support no black woman with no white men. I said, well, she wasn't, she was a student, and I started to tell the story as I knew. I don't care about that. I'm not going to support no black woman. I'm saying that nothing should come between you and your people.
That's right.
She's still a black woman.
That's right.
You mean to tell me you ain't never done nothing stupid?
Thank you, Lord.
All of us have done something stupid, and we cannot turn. Yes, we can. What?
Especially the black women.
I thought you said that.
That's what I said.
What did he say?
We gotta be truthful.
What'd you say?
She was talking about a man,
Said-
right? That she couldn't convey the proper feeling and information to.
Right.
So when you start relaying out, I'm also a male and I'm responding, and I said, especially two black women. We've all done something stupid. Men.
But seriously, people, we have to be in a state of mind in which nothing can turn us one from the other. You hear me? Nothing. No little petty stuff, even no big stuff. People have come to me mad at me. Sharpton's over there, Maddox is over here. Why are you over there with Sharpton? I said, I'm not, he's a brother. Why are you over there with Maddox? I said, they're both brothers. I'm not going to contribute to this. I'm not going to be a part of it, you understand? And then they're together going out doing business, and people over here still gossiping. Where did it come to? You have to stop that kind of stuff. Okay? Now, if somebody does something seriously, like Roy Ennis, to me, there's a line there. He's still a brother, but I will not support him. Okay? I will not have anything to do with him. I'll speak truthfully because he's trying to kill us. He's just like Joseph Savimbi. He's just like this man. What's that guy over there with Nkata? Buthelezi? The same kind of person, and they're created by this racist system. They are consciously created by them to do exactly, to function as they're functioning. Okay. But those other brothers, they're not doing that. They might be in some places immature, but they're still in. Yes, brother man.
Like beige.
I'll be very brief for the conversation, but it's like in this country we live to eat, rather than eat to live, and we have a bad habit. And with all of this around us, unless we start to focus, and politically change our habits.
Yes.
It's beautiful to have all the conversations about the spiritual part, but we need that to take on whatever task there is.
That's why we're here.
But the practical part of it too is that a lot of us have got to clear up our habits about politics and how are we going to address and respond to what the real problems are.
Okay.
We've got to be very clear on that.
Okay, you heard us just a minute ago talking about focus, right?
Yes.
You heard me talk about we were going this way and that way, but we have to keep focus. It's the same thing.
Right.
We have in every aspect of our life, we have to stay on focus. Keep a clear view of what is happening and what our relationship is, how we fit into this thing. The brother who's been nominated for the Clarence Thomas. I don't know.
Supreme Court.
Thomas. Why I keep blocking it, man?
Just think of
just let's go through things. why shouldn't he be nominated? Why shouldn't he take that position? In thinking about your support or non-support, what do you use to make your judgment?
What other people say.
I think it's very important to look at what alternative do we have? What alternatives do we have?
No. Don't think alternative. Judge him. This brother, he's here. What will make your decision? What will you use to make a decision? On yes or no?
The fact that he's black.
Wait, listen. The fact that he's black. What?
The fact that he's black. I mean, I feel like he's black, and anybody else that they put up is going to be white. It's a choice between him and some white person. No matter who I would go with him because I feel that we could reach him or something. I'd rather have him than a white person.
Based on so it's just a skin analysis.
Yes.
You're going on skin. All right.
But
what else do you
Camille,
have to add?
not just the skin.
Okay.
Because he's an African too. He is an African also. He may not see, our plight the way that I do, but he is still an African, and I would rather work with him as an African than a European.
All right. Now let's speak about what we said a minute ago. Roy Innes is an African. Joseph Savimbi is an African. Okay. They're black.
But he's an African in our midst, and he's being given to us right now as a choice, I guess. Because if it's not him, I feel it's going to be a European. They're not going to come up with a better brother.
Okay.
It's going to be Yolan. We're going to give you somebody white, and then we're lost. I have no faith in what white people are going to do for me as an African. No faith.
We did not choose him.
True.
He was chosen by our enemies. And we must realize that we are in a state of dis-ease in this country. And we are in a state of war. And the best person to destroy you many times is the person who looks like you. It's better to fight an enemy whom you know than an enemy whom you do not know. So because someone looks like you does not mean that they should represent you. Sometimes it is better to get the most racist person to put in certain position because he knows he has to have certain relation to you, and you have to have certain relation to him. And it is not saying you should trust someone more because they're white or vice versa. But we have some brothers and sisters who've been educated by our enemies and who've become our enemies, even worse than we may imagine. And at the same time, we want to make sure that those who lead us would be us. Our leaders would be us. But remember that the brother who dropped the bomb on the community in Philadelphia was a brother. And so we need not be afraid to say that we do not want a brother or a sister, usually a brother, in this case, to take leadership of us who have earned that right.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think what could be confusing to the community too is the fact that some of our leaders are saying that Clarence Thomas is a good person, we should go with him, whereas there's controversy and the other leaders are saying, no, we shouldn't go. So I mean, some of it, that's a very divisive conquest right there. So I think a lot of us may be very confused.
Those of you who think he's a good person, what do you base that opinion on? I don't think he's a good person. I think that he's a good person. We'll come to you. Wait, right after her. Go ahead.
Please say a prayer for me too, because I got to say it, sister. Now, the reason I would be kind of dubious voting for him, because I don't see how he's going to sleep with his white wife and do me any good.
He may be doing you some good back
I think that's
Okay. She's all right. Okay. Thank you.
Someone just said.
What now? Don't you do
Someone just said that we are at war. If we were really at war, then we would know there are certain battles you don't fight. This is not a battle we should fight. The Supreme Court is out of our hands. The laws in this country has never protected us. It never will. There's no argument here. There's no discussion. This is a non-issue that we're making an issue out of. The point of fact is that Reagan and Bush has stacked the Supreme Court as it is. And by the way, it's not there for us. It is there to put the white, the European woman back in her place. We have never been protected by the law, so the European man has no reason to bother himself with the law.
So what's the point of it?
The point of stacking the Supreme Court as it is to put the European woman back in her place.
But why is
We
don't need to do that to us. We've been doing it.
But explain that a minute. Explain that for me. What do you mean by putting the Europeans back in?
Well, the European woman has been out there. She's been earning with him. She's been trying to become his ruler, the head of his organizations, and he's been cutting. There's a civil rights bill that they're arguing over right now. If you notice, we can sue and we don't have a ceiling. We can get the max, whatever money. They've given her, I think it was $150,000.
On women.
Well, for women, right.
Black women and white women.
Yeah, but
black
women don't. But my point is, in the law, we don't figure because they do whatever they want with us. Look at the trial we're talking about right now.
Exactly.
They don't need laws to keep us in
So
line.
attach again for me. What do you mean by putting the woman back in her place as it relates to his being nominated?
Yeah, why would they need Thomas?
Well, why they need Thomas? They are looking on this abortion. Abortion is the issue. Abortion has been the issue for the last 5 nominations because white European women aren't producing children. That's why they want to make it that she gets pregnant and she's got to bring it.
And so you're saying that he will vote in favor of no choice, no abortion. Is that what you're saying?
The reason he is picked because Bush already knows how he's going to vote.
Pro-life.
May I comment? I must comment.
She hasn't said anything.
I just want to comment because we really are diverting from the individual, the man at hand. Particularly, I've had to, as a person of ethnic background, base my judgment on this person as to what I hear this person say, what I read from this newspaper, from that newspaper. I have not been able to see with my own eyes and hear with my own ears what has this person truly done for my community. And who is he? And who is he? Where did he pop out?
Okay, that takes us to this question. Excuse me, that takes us to this question. What is his track record? He has held office. What has he done for us?
Nothing.
When he was, I think he was the head of the Human Rights Division, EEOC in Washington. What did he do when he had that office?
They say he was against most of the things for us in the first place.
When he was head of the EEOC, what did he do?
For us, nothing.
He tried to dismantle it as much as possible. He almost de-gutted it. So that it had we could not use it to any degree. So he did that. When he was put in a position where he could help us, he didn't. He went the opposite way. Now, with that in mind, do you still think that you need to put him on the court?
No.
Judging from his track record, nothing else. If he were white and he had a track record like that, what would we say? Forget it. He is a black man. We know that white folks have created black folks for the purpose of confusing black folks, of playing that part. So my thing is that check his track record out, what he has done in the past when he had an opportunity to help us. What did he do? And why should we think that now he's going to be a good person? I've been listening to Reverend Butts. I've been listening to C. Vernon Mason saying that he will pull from his past. He will pull from his ethnicity, and that will change him. It didn't change him when he was head of the EOC. Why would it change him in this new position? Yes, dear.
Every time we vote for a white person running, We always hope that he changes. I mean, whoever, we want to Lyndon Johnson,
Not me.
everybody.
But
Okay, so now listen, wait. And here's a black man. Now, if first of all, this is a non-voting issue anyway. The guy's going to get there anyway.
Not necessarily.
But pretty much it's that way probably will. In all probability he will. All probability. But if he does